All right, howdy y'all. Welcome back to the Cowboy Slots channel. My name is Mark, and between Brantley and I, we bring you over 20 years of experience working both in the casino, working on slot machines, talking to industry experts to try to get as much information straight to you as we possibly can. We're here to bust a lot of myths. We're here to tell you how to budget, how to have fun inside of a casino, and how to find the best machines to play based on volatility. But today we're going to actually talk about something that we covered in a recent live stream, but we got a lot of feedback and some additional questions. So we thought, let's do a standalone video on this and kind of dive a little bit deeper into it. So the topic today is central servers, servers inside of casinos. What are they doing there? Guys, a lot of the things that you've heard are completely false, and we're here to kind of bust that today, and we're going to do some show and tell so you can see what is actually going on. So without further ado, let's strap in, let's learn something today. Let's think about what central servers are actually doing inside of casinos so that you can clear your head and know that you're getting the right information. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. All right, guys, so let's first start with the definition. What is a central server? So a central server is just like anything that you would find in an office building. Any kind of medium or large size business will have some kind of central server. And all it is a machine that is networking all of the other machines inside of the building. So it could be printers, it could be the keys, key fobs getting in and out of doors. It could be the computers, the laptops, Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff. So all those things are networked together. Now in a casino, that is also true. So you do have servers that are networked to all the machines. It could be ATM machines, slot machines, the little tablets that you see on the actual table games themselves, lighting, cameras, all that kind of stuff has to be networked back to some location where people can access it. But guys, stay tuned. I need to make something absolutely clear. You heard all that and you're like, I know what they're doing. They're absolutely screwing with the slot machines. No. Think about this, guys. Just because the technology exists does not mean that it is in use or they are allowed to use it. I'm going to say that again because I think it's super important. Just because technology exists doesn't mean it's in place, okay? Just because a robot can do open heart surgery does not necessarily mean that would be your choice compared to a veteran that's been there for 40 years and he's had a 99% success rate, right? I'd probably go with the doctor instead of the robot, those are the things that you just need to really think about whenever you hear central servers and you try to automatically jump to conclusions. Oh yeah, they're definitely doing something. But let's go ahead and dive into what it is that they can't do specifically, and I'll show you some ways that they are prevented from doing that. Okay, so the first thing, guys, one thing you need to fully understand about slot machines. Slot machines have to be standalone units. There cannot be any outside influence on the operation of that slot machine, meaning the logic portion is completely jailed off, meaning that the logic on how decides the spins, the random number generators, all that kind of stuff cannot be influenced by anything outside. Servers, people, magnets, you name it. None of that stuff can be happening inside of a regular slot machine. It's just not possible. And manufacturers are bound by laws, rules, and regulations to make sure that their machines are built in a way that that cannot happen. And we're going to talk about that now. So the first thing, servers can actually interface with machines, and we're going to talk about what they actually can do. But first, let's get some things out of the way that they can't do. One of those is they cannot automatically push changes down to the machine and have them be automatically accepted. Okay? So even though they can download and say, look, we want to change the bet level on this machine, even though they can do that, it sits in a queue. It cannot be automatically applied on the machine itself. It sits in a queue saying there is a pending configuration change on this machine. So what happens next? So what I've done is I've taken the logic portion out of this machine here. Now this is an S3000 from IGT. This is a very recent machine. They started coming out about 4 or 5 years ago. They're very prevalent inside a casino, so this is very modern. So what I'm about to show you is exactly what you would find inside of a casino. Okay, so let's say that the central server did push a request for a change on here. Okay, again, it is not automatically applied. There is a process that must take place. Brantley and I have witnessed this process from start to finish in one of the casinos, and we have also talked to MGM Grand slot managers and slot directors about how this process actually goes down. And this is what they told us, okay? So this is the brain box. This is the logic unit for this machine. It's basically a modified computer. But modified is the big key word here, okay? So you're looking at this right here. In order for a configuration change to ever be allowed on this machine, whether it was remotely pushed down or somebody wants to do it physically at the machine, there is a special USB key that must be entered right here. But you see there is a metal flap there, okay? That's because it's not revealed. There is a lock right here. I have removed the lock because it's in a home environment, but there would be a lock right here. The Gaming Commission owns the keys to this lock, not the casino. So the Gaming Commission would have to come out and unlock this. By unlocking this, they can push this lever up, and now it reveals the special slot that a elevated USB key goes into. Okay, now there are other USB ports on here, but none of these are connected like this one is. This is a very special port. Okay, so this is what the manufacturer builds in, protection like this. Okay, so if this is unlocked, they can put an elevated key in here and they can either make the changes themselves or they can accept the change that was pushed from a central server. But again, it must be physically accessed. A key has to be inside of here in order to accept that change. Now, who has the USB key? Slot technicians do not have the key. Okay, they may have to check it out, they may have to get management, but there is one thing that is very common, and that is that the Gaming Commission has to be present because they need to witness this change from start to finish. And I want you to draw attention to something here. I'm going to go ahead and relock this. Do you see this old tape on here? This is from the New York State Gaming Commission. So this was actually in a New York casino, and you can see that the tape, the tamper-proof tape, went right over that USB port. Okay, so that is how they seal a machine, knowing that nobody has monkeyed with or changed or anything on this machine since the last time they sealed the machine. Okay, so that is really, really important. We got to get that point across. Even though central servers can help to automate things by making it more efficient, they still need to physically access every machine and accept the change. And Gaming Commission has to be aware of the change and they have to be present to see that because they need to reseal it afterwards. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so that is the next thing, and let's go on to the stuff that they actually can do, what central servers can do. All right, guys, so let's talk about what casino central servers can actually do, and this is the real reason that they're put in place. Okay, it is definitely for automation of viewing data, statistical data, things like that. For example, one of the things that they can do is at any time view the real-time stats of coin in and coin out on a machine. Why do they do this? They look for performance data. If a machine is not performing well, they might need to replace it or move it. If a machine is overperforming, maybe they need to order more of those because people are really playing it. Okay, they are constantly looking at that information because that is how they make determinations on which machines to drop and which machines to add. Okay, the next thing is they can have a view of the casino floor and see which machines are being played at any given time. Again, this is view-only information. This is just for them to see where the activity is, and this is what slot managers do to try to design the casino in a way that it flows nice, okay? And so they can look at that information, see who is actually playing, if you have their player's card in there. And again, the reason they do that is because that is how they can pay you comps. That's how you get noticed by casino hosts and things. Put that card in there, get your comps. Yes, they can absolutely see what you're playing and what your bet size is and how much you've won and lost, but that is how they get the information to generate your comps, okay? That's the only way to do it. They cannot go and just sit down with a chair next to you and start watching you play, okay? All this stuff actually helps you by generating more comps because it's all automated and there's just a bunch of, analysis that's being done automatically to spit out what your next free play amount's going to be, for example. All right, so the next thing that we want to talk about is the other things that they do. Now, they can look at coin in and coin out. And back in the old days, they literally had to go down to each machine with a clipboard and write down the coin in and coin out of every single machine. That was a very arduous process. You can imagine it takes a long time, especially the casino with thousands of machines. That's ugly. So with a central server, they can basically get all that information aggregated in the back for them to look at that information and make decisions off it, like I just said. So they can run reports, they can see analysis over short periods of times, long periods of times, all that kind of stuff to really make those decisions, okay? All right, so the next couple things that they can do is they can figure out which machines have tilts or errors, such as the game's down, needs to be rebooted, or the reel is spinning, or paper is out, whatever the case is. So this is for the slot technicians. They usually have little tablets or little PDAs or cell phones, things like that, that actually tell them where the tilts are. So the central server is basically keeping track of where all those are so they can go and repair the machine. And the other thing is that slot attendants have this information whenever hand pays are hit, okay? So you may have witnessed this before. I've seen it at ARIA before, where they walk around with a little cell phone looking thing, and it actually tells them which of the hand pays and in what order they hit, so they visit the right person at the right time, and easy to keep track of who won what and all that kind of stuff. So all of that is connected to the central server too, so they actually know what is going on whenever a machine gets a hand pay or there's a tilt. Okay? All right, guys, so I hope that helped kind of clear things up a little bit about what central servers are doing inside of a casino. This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions out there, is that people really think that casinos are watching you or deciding when slot machines can pay out and not pay out. And that can't be further from the truth. As we mentioned before, slot machines cannot have any outside influence. Okay, they must stay random. If they are not random, they must not be in a casino that is a Class 3 licensed casino for slot machines. Okay, we are not talking about bingo machines or HHR horse racing machines or lottery terminals. We're not talking about that stuff. Those are completely different. Okay, we're talking about slot machines, stuff you find in Las Vegas, in Reno, in New Jersey, those places. Okay, most of them are Class 3 slot machines like you see behind me here, okay? So we're talking about those. They cannot be influenced by anything, okay? They must stay random, okay? Listen, I know what you're saying, and we're going to get a lot of comments in here that say, you know what, you're full of it. Casinos can do whatever they want. They're greedy. They will decide when machines pay and don't. Guys, I'm here to tell you with 100% certainty that is not what is going on. And how do we know that? Well, number one, we've worked with casinos before in the back end. We see the processes. We know that, okay? Number two, you can look this stuff up yourself. Okay, if you don't believe us, go talk to gaming commissioners. You can call the gaming commission in Las Vegas and ask them the same questions that we're asking you here, okay? We get this information from people that are in the industry, and I assure you, they are not there to screw you. I know a lot of people think casinos are out to just screw everybody. But listen, the payback percentages on these machines are anywhere from 85 to 95% in favor of you, the player. Okay, it may not be you personally, but overall, the player gets 85 to 95% of all the spins that occur on a slot machine. That's not very greedy. That makes me think that the players are greedy, right? It's the other way around. But casinos are happy with that 5 to 15% household that they get on every slot machine. They put a machine in service, they set the payback percentage, and they just stand back and watch. Because they know over a certain period of time, they are going to get a certain amount of money from that machine, and they're happy with that because it requires very little maintenance, and they don't need to do all these changes that everybody thinks that they're doing, okay? They just don't need to do that. And a central server certainly cannot start monkeying with things automatically without the gaming commission being notified and realizing that something is being done on that machine, okay? That's probably the most important piece to this entire puzzle, is that even though there is some automation, and yes, games are getting easier and easier to change payback percentages, but just because it's easy doesn't mean that they can do it anytime they want and for any reason, okay? There are still rules and regulations in place, and the Gaming Commission is a very large part of that. The reason it's gotten easier is because it doesn't need to be a time sink in order to change the payback percentage, okay? There's no need to have to swap out chips and stuff like that anymore like they used to, okay? Back then, that was the technology. That's what they had to do. But nowadays, it's a lot different because there's USB sticks and all these kinds of things. It just makes it a lot quicker. But again, that does not allow them to circumvent the rules. And just like we talked about on the brain box here with this latch, this is a brand new machine, okay? These are still in casinos today, and that is what the manufacturers build into these products to make sure that that protection is in place and that the Security and Gaming Commission is aware of all changes that are occurring on those machines. All right, guys, so we'll wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section below, or join our forums at ropethejackpot.com/chat, and we'll be happy to answer your questions there as well. We got a great community there. Listen, the reason for this video is to try to clear some air on what central servers can and can't do. Again, we want you to have the right information going into the casino because we feel that if you're educated, you're going to be a better gambler overall. So guys, I hope you really appreciate this video. Give us a thumbs up. A subscription would be nice if you're new here. We do this kind of education stuff all the time, and we do some live play and some other things too. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you on the next video. Take care.
Thanks so much for watching. Check out these other videos and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more slot tips. It's always free. Visit ropethejackpot.com for free guides and a whole lot more. Catch you on the next episode.